Hi everyone. Thanks to those who came to our group this week. It was really nice to see you. So this is just another video for those of you who attended and also those who couldn't attend but would like to catch up with some of the information that we covered in the session. So so in the group yesterday, we talked a bit about the developmental journal. And so this is a publication that was produced quite a few years ago, but is all about how to support the general and overall development of young children with Down syndrome. So you can see I've put the link here that you can click on if you want to access that, but also you can just type it into Google as well and it should come up. So it kind of supports families to monitor and also celebrate their children's development. And it's quite a nice and easy way to share information between you and the people that you work with to look at how your baby or young child is progressing and developing. So yeah, it looks at lots of different sections. There's a different section for communication, for social skills, for their learning, their play, their physical skills, and it's done in steps. So it starts at step 1 and it goes all the way up to step 11. And you can hopefully look at each step and work through those to think about where your child is at and what might be the next step for them. So I will show you what the journal actually looks like. So let me just find that. So this is the document. It's quite a big document, lots and lots of pages, as you can see. So don't print it all out. If you want to print it at home, just print the step that you think you want to work on. So you can have a look and go down. It gives you lots of information. So you can see this is step 1. There's a bit of overall information about what babies and young children are doing at step 1. And then it breaks it down into different sections, which are all a different color. And you can look at, so this is all about how they interact with other people. And you can have a look at the list here and think about whether your child does this. Maybe you've seen them do it once or not very much at all, whether they're doing it sometimes, but not all the time yet, and whether they're doing it most of the time. So you can have a look here. So it starts off nice and easy. So, are the babies able to cry, to express when they're hungry or when they're angry or when they're hurting? And it kind of looks at all of those types of skills. And then it will have different colors. So this one's all about their sensory and their motor development and their play skills. So this is a really nice way to look at kind of where your child is at. Then there's a different section about their feeding, their eating and drinking, and also their sleeping. And then there's kind of an overall summary sheet at the end that you can look at. And you can write the date for, if you want to, you can say when you saw your child do these things. And then it moves on to step 2, and it's exactly the same. So there'll be a bit of information and then all the different colored sections for all the different areas of development. So that's what that looks like. So if you want to have some help with that, because it is quite a difficult form to fill out for some people, then you could speak to me or Kate and we can help you with those. And we can do those together in our sessions, either kind of when we see you outside of the group. So let's go back to the handout. So this is just all about that information there. The other thing we talked about yesterday is we carried on with some of the strategies for developing language for young children with Down syndrome. So last week we talked a bit about making communication a part of your everyday life, making it a part of everything you do, and kind of weaving it into the routines that you do at home. And we also talked about making communication really visual. So we know that we can't just use our spoken words. We need to make sure we're looking at pictures and objects and lots of different things to help them learn language. So this week we've got 3 more. And as I said before, these things will all be kind of influenced by lots of different factors. So all children develop their language at very different rates. So these are just more general ways that we know help most children with Down syndrome. So the first one we're going to look at is trying to be animated. So having a really positive face when you're talking to your child. And that's something lots of us do anyway. But it's making sure that then when they try to communicate with you, you reward that with a really, big smile or, a really positive word to show that it's a really good thing when they try to talk to you or communicate with you. So it's about smiling, using lots of nice facial expressions, using a positive kind of tone of your voice, or maybe a really good gesture or sign to make it really exciting for them. And that will help them to pay attention to your face, which we know is important for children with Down syndrome, so they can take in that visual information and they can look at what your face is doing, what your lips are doing when you're talking, and also what your hands are doing if you're signing. The other thing that we need to think about is making sure that you are quite repetitive with the language that you use. So it might seem a bit strange, but actually using the same words over and over and over again is going to be really good for your child to help them learn language. So it might be that when they communicate with you, you might want to copy the word that they're trying to say, or you can kind of guess what word they're trying to say. So if they're pointing at a dog and they're going, oh, 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 you could say, yeah, dog, dog, look, dog, making sure you're saying that word lots of times. Or yeah, and if they're saying something that's not quite right, you can use the right word so they can hear that word or see that word if you're signing. The last one we're going to look at today is where you position yourself or where you sit or stand when you're talking to your baby or young child. It's really important that we try and get on the same level of as the child so they can, again, see our face really clearly. So that might be if they're lying on the floor, sometimes you have to get really low down, get your body nice and low so they can see your face. So they don't have to look up to you all the time when they want to tell you something. So if your face is quite close to where their face is, it's easier for them to communicate with you. And it helps them to focus on your face and again to look at your facial expressions and what your mouth is doing and your tongue is doing when you're talking. So sometimes it might be that you have to try and get really low on the floor, or if they're sat down, you have to sit down too. So making sure that they don't have to look all the way up when they want to talk to you about something. So yeah, I hope all those things are useful. That's kind of 5 strategies that we've looked at over the past 2 weeks. So it'd be really great if you could have a go at using some of those at home. And the next couple of weeks, we will be looking at different education and funding options for children with Down syndrome, and then a bit more about the typical language development for children with Down syndrome. So I hope I see you all at the group. So there's no group next week as it's half term. So hopefully we will see you all in 2 weeks' time. Thanks very much. Bye.